Oh my God!
Woo!
Episode 100.
Woo!
Oh my Lord. We got a scroll. We got this scroll going, so we're
Lippy
official.
pants.
Yeah.
Good for
Oh
you.
my goodness, this
The
is
100.
insane. Can you believe it?
Lippy pants.
We got 100 episodes. This is so
Wow.
amazing. So amazing. So, but let's we have 3 special guests, friends of the show that have been with us the whole time, almost, I think, and very special guests, Mick Manhattan, Zach Wiseman, and Fred Carroll. So let's do the theme song. Let's stick to the one tradition. Let's let Zach man take it over.
All right. Well, there's something I got to tell you guys. Here's a story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. And all of them have jobs and friends, except for Mick. Just between you and me.
All right, Mick, Santa.
They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff Ronsell and there's Howard. Ugh, this beard is killing me. They call it across the streams.
Fred.
And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh and shout and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform. But man, we crossed the streams.
Oh, here we go.
We crossed the streams. We crossed the streams. We crossed the
The audio.
That was rough. That was rough.
That was
But,
rough. It was rougher
They're
than
gonna
normal.
love it.
That was rough. So, welcome everybody to Crossing the Streams, where we answer the universal question. I just finished binge watching something. Now I got to watch something else. What should I watch? Well, we got your back. We got your back. So this is our 100th episode.
Wow.
Jerry, why so many guest hosts tonight? Am I watching an episode of Shield?
Jerry's on my good list.
Jerry, special shout out to Jerry and thank you, Marcy. Marcy's going to be joining us.
Thank you, Marcy.
Marcy's on the bad list.
Marcy was on last week. She's going to be
easy. It's that easy, guys. Bad list. It's quick.
on.
I listen. Naughty and Nice is copywritten, so let's.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Carmen and Lee and Jerry and
Yes, Lee did some promotion for us yesterday.
Yeah.
and today.
CRP. Don't forget CRP.
CRP.
Right.
Where is CRP? We have yeah.
Yeah.
CRP was an early thing. So this, a lot of people ask, and so Crossing the Streams started. How Crossing the Streams started, and why it kind of melds with my podcast, as well as it started early on. I went to Ron and Howard, and I think it was actually Ron that came up with the name Crossing the Streams, actually. And and so we.
I think it was somebody else, if I remember correctly.
Oh, we have a
No.
battle here.
So, no, that was a joke. The so we did we filmed 2 episodes, early episodes of my podcast were titled Crossing the Streams, and I think what was it, Crossing the Streams Electric Boogaloo or something like that. I don't remember. But we actually filmed them both in the same, I think at the same time. It was before I knew how to do multi-track, so it was like if we all talked over each other, I didn't know how to edit right. But that's how it started, and then eventually, and then it was meant originally, I think, to be a recurring thing on the podcast, and then it became this, and so, and now it does make its way back to the podcast. But
#1 show on Wednesdays at 9:30.
no, that's right. We got this is our 100th episode. We have I've gotten letters, a lot of letters. Congrats on reaching this amazing milestone. Wow, 100 episodes. I'm so impressed. Here's another one. I can't believe it.
They mailed these to your house?
Yeah, no, I went to.
These are
You
his
should
wife.
be so
These are from
proud
his
of
wife.
yourself for reaching this milestone. I'm really happy for you. Actually, what I did, I didn't get any, so I went to that Chat GPT that everyone's talking about, and I wrote, "Write me 10 congratulations on my 100th episode."
What should people be saying about it?
Signed
Right,
Epstein's mother.
Yeah.
So
That's the same thing my wife does. She just puts like congratulations on another podcast on my door just because she's assuming I'm doing something. But congratulations.
Jerry always Jerry's like the perfect like side wingman for the show. So
he really is.
We
What's up,
appreciate you, Jerry. And sometimes if
Yeah,
we don't put
he's
the
our
stuff,
hype man. He's our hype man.
sometimes if we don't put the stuff on the screen, it's only because I'm trying to manage stuff, and sometimes it's easier than other times. But so very cool, very cool. What else we got? I did finish season 1 of Parks and Rec.
Oh God!
Oh, wow.
Season 1 is not good.
I know. It's my 4th attempt at season 1.
Just jump to season 3.
Yeah.
I want to watch it. I wanted to kind of I figure it's not that bad. And then we're into I think we're like deep into season 3 season 3 of Yellowstone, which, oh my God, we're going to have to, everyone has to watch that. We'll have to do and Marcy wants to come back for that. We'll do an hour episode just on Yellowstone. But that's kind of killer. So
I don't know how you find time to watch all this. I really don't. I mean, I know that's the charter of Crossing the Streams, but you are one of the busiest guys I know. How do you find the time?
It's my relaxed time with my wife. We'll be like, let's chill. We'll chill by the TV. It's 9:00. We chill and we watch an hour. Yellowstone's nice because you can really only take in one episode. They're pretty heavy. And so, it's the perfect thing. So that's what we do. We just, the times that we want to just chill together, we just watch something. So.
Yeah, I'd say like the last 6 months, my mental bandwidth is to the point that I have to put on something that I've seen 100 times, and that's all I'm capable of watching. Like it has to be something that's already there because I can't process anything new.
It's me with Air Bud for the last week now.
No, you didn't just watch Air Bud. Did you really, Zach?
No, Zach didn't just watch Air Bud. He watched 20 Air Bud movies.
I've watched all 14 Air Bud movies 3 times so far. I can't handle the world. I got to revert back to what Buddy's doing.
That's really funny.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I can handle that. But I do want to shout out to Mick for coming as Santa Claus.
Yeah,
This is our holiday. This is our Christmas episode.
I thought it was a David Harbor thing.
I wanted to come and be a part of this because you are my second favorite Jewish comedian.
Just to show you, we don't believe there's a war on Christmas. We will say Merry Christmas.
That's true.
And Happy Hanukkah. And Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Whatever you're celebrating. We don't care here at Crossing the Streams.
We just want you to be happy.
Just want you to be happy.
Hey, if I may,
Carmen, we shouted out Carmen.
If I may, speaking of the holiday period, if I may, over the last several years, I've spent a lot of time purchasing retail things online, and therefore have developed and been put on every retailer's email, mailing list possible. Now, I realize I could unsubscribe for these, but I might miss a good deal. But how dumb do they take us? Over the last 2 months, I've received from many of the same retailers. It's our fall sale, then our pre-Black Friday sale, then the Black Friday sale, followed immediately at the end of that weekend by the Cyber Monday sale, and now it's just the holiday sale. And the items that they're offering in those are all the exact same price all the way through. I think they're probably the same price in the Christmas and July sale too. If you're buying something at a price higher than in those emails, you're a moron and you deserve everything coming to you.
That's funny. Oh man,
it's very ranty of you.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and I have one more thing. This is actually a Rosner redemption. In our very first episode of this show, I ranted at the Mondelez Global Corporation because the maker of Sour Patch, because I was eating Sour Patch and they got rid of the Sour Patch fruits that they used to offer, which was it was a better assortment and a mix of flavors. Now, they have not brought back the Sour Patch fruits, but they have made significantly more available packages of Sour Patch, the fruits that were in there: Sour Patch Grape, Sour Patch Sour Cherry, Sour Patch Watermelon, Sour Patch Peach. and it's so I'm going to redeem them and say thank you for hearing our show and at least meeting me halfway.
All right, you're right.
We do. That is good. Hey, we're changing the world. That's what we do.
Yep. First world issues.
That's what we do here.
One shitty candy at a time.
Speaking of shitty candies, our mutual friend Sal and Jeff, Gary Gulman, a very funny comedian, just posted on Instagram today. He was so happy that Skittles brought back the lime. I didn't know it was missing, but he's very happy about that, and apparently so are others.
Probably in Marshawn Lynch's car.
Gary Goldman retweeted me about a month ago.
Very nice.
Yeah, I was pretty excited. That was a really exciting moment. So,
speaking of candy, one of the things my brother brought me back from a trip out west, which is delightful, and there's a couple of great companies that do it and have great websites, is have you ever seen freeze-dried candies?
Yes.
They take stuff like Skittles and they freeze dry them.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that. I thought you meant like...
Well, really? Like just any real candy, like freeze-dried.
Oh, okay.
Like gummy bears, freeze-dried, saltwater taffy, freeze-dried, and it just totally changes the consistency of it, obviously, and it's really, really good.
No, it sounds good.
I like frozen fruit along those lines. So we got a bunch of shows to talk about, which is exciting. We have some. Let's see, what do we got? We have let's recap last week's show just so everyone knows, because this was the run up. This our pre holiday sale for episode 100.
Yes.
We talked about Atari Game Over, Sprung, Rudolph, which was really about how Rudolph is a gay allegory. And then Bob caught us all off guard with that one. And then Causeway. But that's the 100th. Look at that lineup. That's
jeez.
That's impressive.
So we got Harry and Meghan, Fire of Love, Avatar 2, and then Action. I Believe in Santa. It wouldn't be Crossing the Streams without a holiday rom-com from Sal, and Violent Night, just to kind of round out even more of let's start off Sal. Let's start off with the holiday theme and let's go right into I Believe in Santa. Yeah.
I'm the Ricky Henderson of the 100th episode. I'll take that lead. I'll take it.
There's no chance Jeff's getting that reference.
Who's following me?
I'm following you.
All right, good, Ronnie.
Ron has the Corbin.
So this is another just holiday movie I chose. This was in the top 10. Zach's in the house. This is in the top 10 of the Netflix metrics or whatever the hell that thing was that you were doing. This is in the top 3. So Zach would have watched this last night. And if he was still doing that, I don't know. Maybe he's doing it on another podcast. But anyway, it made the top 3. So I thought I'd watch it because I like these rom-com Christmas movies. And basically this one, I'll tell you, Jeff, just keep the tomato sauce jar slide. You can just put that away. All right. You're not
no.
This does not hit. No, this does not hit. Look, now we all know what these movies are about. And if you have like a 14-year-old, if you're a parent out there watching this, I know there's millions of parents watching this all over the world. If you have like a 14, 15-year-old daughter and, they want to see a Matthew McConaughey movie with his shirt off, or she does, and you're not allowing that, let her watch this movie. This is a perfect movie for a really, really young girl or guy that's just getting into the rom-coms. But the adults, if you're on a date, Bob, if you got a date tomorrow and you guys want to get a Christmas movie, or Jeff, if you and your wife have your sit on the couch watch time, do not watch this. Make sure to tell your wife not to put in.
I don't have a date. I have a date with you tomorrow. We have our show.
We do have our show. Anyway, basically, in a nutshell, the movie is about a girl that's a writer. Hey, what do you know? Rom-com movie where the girl's a writer. I'm still waiting for that girl to be working on the plant over at the fort, putting on screws. It hasn't happened yet, but One of these days it's going to happen. She's a writer, and she doesn't like Christmas. She doesn't like Christmas time and all that. And during the July 4th weekend, she meets a guy at a July 4th party, and they date for 5 months until December 1st. She finds out that he is just obsessed with Christmas. He's just a Christmas nut, and he believes in Santa Claus. He actually still believes in Santa Claus for kids under 10 years old. By the way,
everybody, Santa's very real.
Oh yeah, sorry,
That's
Santa.
right.
Here.
Sorry about that, Sam.
Seeing
Mick up there.
John Ducey is played he plays Tom, and then Christina Moore plays his girlfriend Lisa, and then the daughter. I want to get her right because she does a good job. Violet McGraw plays the little girl. Okay, she's a single mother with a kid. Obviously, every rom-com movie has a single mother. They got to have a kid in there because that's the way it is. Anyway, they date, and she finally, again, not to get into it, but she finds out that he's obsessed with Santa, and it kind of ruins their relationship because he's just so obsessed during the month of December, and they get fights over it. But all in all, they do a lot of there's a lot of Christmas caroling in it. They do a tree lighting ceremony that's pretty cool. Other than that, the dialogue is horrible because they're trying to have this conversation where she's trying to figure out why he believes in Santa, and it just doesn't work. I know what they were trying to do, but it just doesn't work. It falls flat on its face. They have a sled. He has to build the daughter a sled for her sled ride thing that they're going to do, and he builds it. The thing's as big as a freaking golf cart, and the mother's not even worried that the kid's going to go down this big, icy hill with with a man-made sled. I mean, it just it's not believable. There's some really bad parts in it. I don't know. It's just I barely got through it, but I did. I watched the whole thing, and at the end, I don't care if I spoil it because nobody's going to watch it anyway. Basically, there's a wedding proposal at the end. Tom literally proposes to this girl because they work out the Santa thing somehow, and he proposes to her, and it's literally one of the worst proposals I've ever seen on film. So anyway, it's just I don't know how it's in the top 10.
You weren't there for my first marriage.
It's the only reason I watch it because it's in the top 10. I give this no tomato sauce jar.
No tomato sauce.
Wow.
That might be a first in our
That is a
100th
first.
episode.
This show is sauceless.
I know.
Sal is ruining
Well,
Christmas.
Sal is a puppy in human form, and so if he doesn't like anything, it's shit.
Oh my god! I thought we were starting off the show with Christmas spirit.
It's a good lead. Hopefully, it gets better. It gets better along the way.
So I will tell you that the trivia I read on this movie is that Lisa, the character Lisa and Tom, they're married in real life.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's probably why there was no chemistry.
Yeah.
Probably.
Didn't know that. Should have looked into that. She's very good. Very good actors. They just didn't get the script. Whoever wrote it, not very good.
Very simple.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was fun. All right. So, Sal, I just feel bad when Sal doesn't like his rom-coms. I know how important they are to him.
That's my fault.
All right. Well, let's. This is a movie that I'm kind of interested in. Avatar: The Way of the Water. Avatar 2, also known as Avatar 2. And Fred saw it yesterday, and he's going to talk to us about it.
I want to know.
So I was given
no spoilers.
Am I the only? Yeah, no spoilers. This is very short because for some reason I might be the only person that Jeff gave a script to because he's making me read stuff. And so I'll start by saying, so I'm a fan of great filmmakers. I'm just a big fan of them. And from Spielberg, Wes Anderson, Hitchcock, many others, the Coen brothers, not to be confused with the Dwoskin brothers, who have just how to launch a podcast, a product of Dwoskin Media. Plan, preparing, launch your podcast today. Head over to johndwoskin.com for more information. Okay, I don't know why he put that in the script, but he made me say that. But I digress. So in a land where these little blue creatures, not called Smurfs, fight for their freedom, for their rights, their respect, where Zoe Saldana, or however the hell you say her name, is way too she's excelled in reactive crying mess all the time. Even in fictional worlds, the children don't listen to their parents. But Mr. James Cameron, who brought us classic films such as Aliens, not Alien, Aliens, Terminator, True Lies, and oddly enough, the original title of that other movie was Hope Floats, but Jack Doesn't, because an uppity bitch sprawls out selfishly across the third-class headboard and simply watches his beautiful frozen face sink to the ocean floor to save herself. But that was too much of a spoiler, they determined. So Titanic was just more marketable, to call it Titanic. So as a self-proclaiming expert in film, I think his dedication to the craft is great. I enjoyed the film. It's it's about an hour too long. It's going at like 3 hours, 20 minutes for this film. It's filled with depth. It's filled with true talent. The CGI of it is just beyond. It's a cinematic masterpiece. I don't know about the storyline so much. I'm going to have to see it a second time to dig into it a little deeper. But what's interesting that I read about it is, although it's in the water, none of the actors are actually in the water. Something like 90% of the water is CGI'd in. And you can't tell. The only thing I noticed about it was no splashing on the screens, on the camera lenses and stuff, which you see in the, the old Jaws movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The whole thing,
Porn directors are concerned about that too.
Yes, right. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. But without giving it away, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it enough that you have to see it in a theater, I think, to get the full effect. Now, I did not see it in 3D because, spoiler alert, I cannot see in 3D, just so you guys all know that. I have no depth perception, so I can't see in 3D. Because I have a lazy left eye. So that's why I had to sit with all the old ladies and all the elderly people, like Bob.
Couldn't they just keep tilting you?
No, I've tried many times to watch 3D
theater out there. Isn't there a lazy eye IMAX theater out there?
Yeah, they should have.
That's a lazy joke.
Where it's like that.
Who's still showing movies in 3D? I have no idea where that's happening.
Well, it's not 3D like House of Wax like you're used to, Bob. It's not like
I starred in it.
Here, have a quarter. I mean, it's not
his
like
first
that.
open mic was in 3D.
Yeah, here's a pen. Here's a pen. It's not like that. This is like a cinematic masterpiece. You're in the world. You're like literally in the world of Avatar, right?
Now I will say the ending to it is extreme and it's 3D, but you see a lot of Titanic type stuff, and you'll see it once you sit down and see the film. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's everything but the band.
Okay. I did hear it was
probably use the same set.
Chock full of visual sumptuousness.
Did Zach see it? I gotta believe Zach saw this. Yeah.
I've seen it 3 times.
Did you?
No,
really?
Zach,
he's not kidding. Actually,
about an hour ago.
Where do you see a 3.5 hour movie 3 times?
Oh, I don't have a job.
What did you think, Zach?
But even so, there's other things you could watch.
No. Have you been to the theaters recently? It's only Aquatar.
Yeah. Did you like it? Did you like it, Zach?
So you got most of it right compared to what I thought. It is a beautiful movie. It deserves to be seen in the theater. I don't know why it exists. I don't like. No one really asked for this thing because there wasn't anything that they solved from movie 1. They only kind of created more problems. So it is the first movie splashed with Titanic, splashed with The Abyss, splashed with Avatar 1. So you're right. It's beautiful, but I will say that there is a lot of underwater acting because Kate Winslet actually just broke the record for longest underwater free diving thing. Yeah. She just beat Tom Cruise at this thing.
Not Kate Winslet. You mean?
Yeah.
No, Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
She was
an Avatar.
Yeah, she was the other tribe's wife. She was the one, like the pregnant woman. That was Kate Winslet.
Right.
And she actually was underwater free diving for over 7 minutes on this movie to
Or-
break Tom Cruise's record.
So the press junket tells us, right?
Yeah, definitely. They were. The training was there, and I
What
heard
movie was
Sigourney.
Tom Cruise in that this
It was Mission Impossible 4. It was one where he was underwater and being like sucked around while trying to grab something. It's a beautiful movie. It's not a great movie. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, it's well done.
I heard that.
What made you want to see it 2 more times?
Well, the first time you watch a movie, you're just being slapped by it. It's like, what is this? Like, what am I seeing? Like, what's happening? And there's just so much like exuberance and excitement and visual things just happening. The second time I watch a movie, it's like, break it down. Like, what am I actually seeing? What are these characters going through? Like, what are they telling me out of this? And then the third time I see it, it's to make sure that my critiques are accurate and I hate it as much as I thought that I would, which is most movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School with the triple Lindy. How long was he under for that?
Roughly 20 seconds.
Yeah. He did okay. So that's it. That's my review for this. Make sure you head over to johndwoskin.com. Learn how to start your own podcast today. I did Dwoskin Brothers.
Mick Manhattan, did you see Avatar?
No, but I did see this wonderful ad for the Dwoskin Brothers.
Yes. Let's discuss.
May I just interject one point here? This may be my sole contribution to the show because I was too lazy to watch anything. Remember, the last couple of weeks, I don't know what it was, but I was going off on Hollywood excess and bullshit. And I read just yesterday that Edie Falco, she played Tony Soprano's wife, right?
I saw that story.
I sent this to Fred today. Yeah.
Okay. This is just so it's like what do they think we are? Complete morons. Okay. So she says that she didn't even know that the movie hadn't come out already. She thought it was, she shot the movie 4 years ago, right? And I don't know what character she plays, but she says she just thought it was never released or it must have bombed. And so all this new promotion for it, she's like, oh, and her friend had to tell her that it's just being released. I'm like, you're so full of shit.
No way.
Come on. You've been waiting for this because you got 0.0001% of the back end of this, right? Yeah. That's what James Cameron gave you. And you're counting every cent of that. And it's such horse shit. I get
to fight this at all, right? Just to be the devil's advocate on this, because I feel like in a room full of white angry men, I got to be the one. It's like, you shouldn't be this angry. In all fairness, he was filming 3 of the Avatars back to back. Her role was supposed to be in part 4, but it actually got moved up to part 2 to make sure that the storyline was accurate. So she didn't know she was actually in this movie.
You read all that? That's not what I read.
That's what I read.
Oh, well.
Gosh, she may have thought she was in Avatar 3, which is 95% done and 9 hours long.
And probably won't be released.
And Zach will see that 4 times.
Of course I will. I see everything. I even watched your shows a couple times just to find all the errors.
Well, come to Northville tomorrow night and see a live Sal and Bob. It's all errors. You'd be better off counting the things that work. I'm kidding.
It is.
All right.
Solid joke.
All right, this is fun.
Sorry about that.
All right, let's go. Oops, did that wrong. Let's do action. Let's talk action. Rosner wants to throw back.
Buddy Hackett.
Yeah.
This Jay Moore classic.
Yeah, so it's funny. I was just rewatching a couple weeks ago. I bought it years ago, the whole series on iTunes, so I've got it in my Apple TV, and I love it. It's great. And then it just it resonated today because I saw that Jay Moore announced that he's engaged to Jeannie Buss, the owner now of the Lakers.
What? He is?
No, he finally found a permanent gig. Good for him.
Yeah. Well, now he can be.
She's dated the whole NBA.
Yeah. She
Marcy is confirming
and Phil Jackson for a long time. Yeah. So it struck, and if you never saw the show, it was 99, 2000 or 98, 99. It was on Fox. There were only 13 episodes of the show that canceled it due to ratings, even though it was critically acclaimed and won writing awards. So the show was created by Chris Thompson, who, amongst other things, was from Detroit, by the way, passed away a few years back, I think. But he, amongst other things, created Bosom Buddies. He was a producer on Laverne and Shirley and wrote some episodes. He did what was the show he did with? He did the show with Taya Leone and what's her name, who was the mom on the Charlie Sheen, John Cryer show. I can't remember the name of the show that they did together. Anyways,
Flying Blind.
No, not Fly Blind. Naked Truth. It was Naked Truth. Yeah, they ran
Naked
gossip,
Truth,
a gossip like a National Enquirer.
Yes.
The gist of the show was Jay Moore was the star, and he is Peter Dragon, who's the biggest action movie producer in Hollywood. Basically, the show is basically an irreverent spoof on Hollywood, kind of biting spoof on Hollywood, not as slapsticky as it was kind of making fun of a lot of things about Hollywood, and really in a lot of ways kind of ahead of its time. So he's the executive producer. His movie that was supposed to be his big one that was going to set up his next one tanks. He's Michael Bay, for lack of a better thing. It totally tanks, and then the only movie they have left that he finds out that he's optioned, his assistant was supposed to buy a script from Adam Rafkin, and he finds out that they bought it from Adam Rifkin, who's a soap opera writer who's never done anything big. And he ends up having to try and produce that movie. He ends up picking up a hooker before the premiere of the movie in the first episode, who used to work in Hollywood, ends up becoming his kind of girlfriend and working with them. She's fantastic. Buddy Hackett plays his uncle Lonnie, who's his head of security, chauffeur. But there's, again, it's a lot of sarcastic and smart-ass commentary about Hollywood. Every trope of Hollywood at the time is kind of touched on. Honestly and truly, it's a show that would do great now if you could download 10, 12 episodes of a season at a time on Netflix or HBO Max or any of those series. I think it would be fantastic, especially because some of the language was bleeped. But it would do great nowadays. It's available on all the regulars. You can pay for it on iTunes. You can find it on Amazon Prime. Probably episodes available on YouTube if you look. It's a really funny show, and there's a lot of good cameos. The big stars of the time, all kind of making fun of themselves. So I recommend it. Pick it up. Jay Moore. It should have been Jay Moore's big hit. And got canceled because of ratings, but critics, it won a Screenwriters Guild Award and nominated for some others. It's really, really fun. Jeff, I think you watched it back in the day.
I remember the show. It was really, really great. It was something that if it had been on HBO, it would have been on for years.
Yeah.
That's going to be Jay Moore's epitaph, canceled because of ratings. The guy... It's just so funny. I love the guy. I love his stand-up. But they just can't. For what now? 25 years they've been trying to find a place for him, and they just can't.
Yeah.
He was great in The Suicide Kings, one of the first movies I saw him in, and then I don't know why.
He's good at
yes, God, he's so good in that.
His stand-up's good. He was married to Nikki Cox for a while. And he's done some really funny stuff. He's just never made it.
No.
He's one of those guys. It's just a
well, I'd say if he's marrying the owner of the Lakers, I'd say he made it. He's done.
He's doing okay now.
You're right, Fred.
Yeah.
He's made it.
Yeah.
He also did Paulie. That was a pretty fun movie.
Paulie.
was that his Dunstan checks in
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he was a parakeet. It was pretty good.
All right, let's.
He's sort of the John Cangelosi to Sal's Ricky Henderson.
Let's.
Was he in Jerry Maguire too? He was, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
Sugar.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure.
All right, it's time for Zach to shine with Fire Love.
Yeah, Fire Love. I'm a fan of documentaries. I like learning anything. I like stories that are told through beautiful artistic ways. I was in a movie theater once and I saw like a trailer for this, Fire Love. It was done by National Geographic. And I'm like, why is there a National Geographic documentary having a trailer in a theater? And the way that it was filmed made me think that it was like a Wes Anderson movie. It had these really weird, like matted color tones. It had a really crazy, breathy, like voiceover. And it started with these two people that are just standing beside a volcano, just watching lava come out. And the narration just says, "This is the last day they're alive."
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, what is this? Right. So I check it out. It comes out on Disney Plus, and I saw it in the theater, but I waited for Disney Plus to watch the second time. And it is one of the most interesting documentaries I've seen, because every bit of it comes from the 70s or 80s. There's nothing new. There's nothing that they haven't gone back and interviewed anybody about this. It's just a culmination of the video that they have about these two people. Their names are Katia and Maurice Kraft, and they're volcanists. They love volcanoes. They love watching lava. They love understanding how life begins. And no, they're not fans of Vulcans. I mean, they might be, but
I was confused.
Yeah. So, like I said, this thing starts off with these two people that are in love, and they're equal in their jobs. They both have the same job. They both love just looking at volcanoes and understanding how this shit works. But in the very beginning of it, that this is the last day that they're alive. So now you're watching this documentary trying to figure out how these two people that are in love, how they're going to die. So it has this interesting kind of touch to it where you're watching a love story. You're watching some of the most beautiful, like awesome displays of volcanic eruptions, while these two people, these French people, are just kicking lava, like with these cool spacesuits on. So the whole thing goes through, and like I said, it's narrated by Miranda Julie. And it's all based on just old footage. Now, the thing that strikes me the most is that they are just so in love with each other. One of the things that she says is, look, if he's going to die, I would rather be with him. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm into. I'm into real love. You know what I mean? Not just like fake love, like I want to be angry at my wife kind of love like you guys are into. I want actual love where somebody wants me to do what I'm loving and also love what they're loving while they're loving me. But the thing is that they're going to die, and you know that. So this is a story of love, a story of ending, while also watching the birth of this planet. Lava is the newest thing on the earth, right? So you're watching these people in their degradation while loving each other at their most, while also watching the earth begin. So it's a beautiful thing of watching people dancing on volcanoes, knowing that they're going to die at the end of the day. And they're not like just danger seekers. They really want to understand lava, and they want to understand volcanoes to help out the world, which is cool. And they love it. And then they die. And it is gorgeous. It is, though it's done by Wes Anderson. The way that it's filmed, the way that it's like put together and edited, it has just such a sweeping quality that makes you just want to just sit back in your couch and just be like, I don't know what I'm about to watch, but it is so gorgeous how this is happening. I absolutely loved it. The score is cool. It has this real kind of like 80s techno. It's done by one half of a group called Air. If people are old musicians, half of that group is the one who does the score.
Air Supply. We're familiar
Not
with
Air
the other
Supply.
half.
No. Oh, yeah. Supply is the only downside that I have to it is I think there's a bit too much narration. And if you're a fan of cinema, narration should give you something that the screen is not showing you. It should give you a little more story than what I can actually see. And I think that the narration makes it more of a film than a documentary, but either way, I absolutely love it. I'll watch it again because it's just so intriguing. Literally, you could put it on and just listen to it, and you're like, I don't know what's happening, but I have to watch this thing right now. So please, if you have Disney Plus, throw it on and just watch some beautiful lava and understand that people can be in love while shit's burning up around them.
So does they show the lava going over their bodies and stuff at the end or something like that?
Well, I'm not going to give you the ending because I want people to watch it and understand. But one of the guy's biggest goals was to make like a canoe and actually like boat down the volcano. And you would think that the wife is like, no, but she's like, it would need to be some kind of space age metal. Like she's just in, and they both love each other and they love what they're doing.
She thought they were in Venice, you know.
It's just a gondola.
The movie starts out, you know, they die, and then the whole movie you're trying to figure out how they die.
Yeah, I mean, they're like
it sounds like it's White Lotus.
So Zach, can you say whether or not they like went into the volcano? Are they? Was there any of them left for their loved ones to deal with?
Did they jump off the big woo?
They did. They had to sacrifice themselves just to make sure. Luckily, they brought some nice luggage, which saved them in the middle of the ocean.
How does nobody remember that they got blown out into sea?
They got blown out. Yeah.
And they found their luggage again, and then they floated away.
It sounds like
they did not fall into a volcano.
It sounds like there's one of those scenes where they're like, "Yep, that we thought that was gonna work, and it didn't."
Yeah.
Like in Last Man on Earth, where the guy's learning how to fly the plane.
Where
finally takes off in the plane and crashes.
Where do you find this, Zach? On Disney?
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's in the National Geographic section of Disney Plus. I think
you want to say that again? Say that again, please. National
Geographic.
Oh, that's what you said.
National Geographic. You can find it right on Disney Plus. It's not a big deal.
Sounded like
what you should do is grab that, Jeff. Grab that sound bite, and then post it, and right after it say, "Hi, I'm Jeff Toscan, and I can help you start a podcast."
That's right.
By the way, I want to talk just for a moment about Mick's perseverance up there in the upper right. You got that beard going, and you're hanging in there with it all hour.
Yeah,
good for you.
You're a character.
Oh, he was wearing a mask for 2 years.
He's a method actor.
Let's go all Santa with Violent Night.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Violent Night. Let me tell you, if you're looking for an insane, absurd time with a little Christmas to it, you need to check out Violent Night. David Harbour stepping up, putting the coat on after Tim Allen died. I think that's how it works. But yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed this movie. It is. I knew going into it, it's going to be a pure absurdity. You know, Violent Night. Come on. So setting into it and watching it, I was like, all right, I'm just going to take this for the violence that it is, and that's it. And I came out happy in the end. I'll tell you that much.
What?
Story's not great. Acting is very all over the place.
Beverly D'Angelo sucks, doesn't she?
She sucks.
I mean, she's really bad in this, but the movie is good. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not going to disagree. She really laid it on thick with the whole bitchiness to her character. But, you know, whatever. I mean, everybody kind of sucked in that room right there. David Harbour was the only one, and the little girl were the only ones that seemed to really put it together. But yeah, no, I love the movie. I thought it was great. I watched it twice now, not 3 times. I will check my criticism probably later this evening with the third watch.
Is it streaming yet?
Yeah, it's you can rent it.
Was Casey with you?
Casey was not with me, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
This one.
I thought
Is
he
it
moved
basically
in.
Die Hard on Christmas Eve? That's what.
Yeah, he gets stuck in a house, like this rich people's house, to drop off the presents, and it gets overtaken. John Leguizamo plays like basically Hans Gruber with his whole team. They show up to steal money in the house, like 300 million or something like that.
Yeah.
So they show up.
You never understand though the motivation of the criminals.
Yeah,
money.
Well,
I could tell.
They set it up pretty good. I gotta take this beard off. I'm like trying to talk.
Get out of character. Get out of character for a minute.
Here, I'll put it down here. I got a mustache. I can make this work. So it really starts out pretty good. Like they get rid of the reindeer, so he's stuck there. He's stuck in the house, and he's kind of magicless at the moment. He's losing his spirit. But through it becomes sort of like a Home Alone type of situation too, which just made a lot more fun than just a Die Hard element.
Is it a Christmas movie?
Of course, 100%.
Well, I don't know. You know, everyone argues.
Yeah,
Everyone,
I would say absolutely.
It's Santa fighting.
Yeah.
So you love this movie too, Bob?
I loved it. And Mick, I felt the same way. It was going to be an hour and a half or 2 hours of absurdity, and it was. But what I didn't think of was, and I'm not going to say what it is, but his origin, where Santa came from. That scene was like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? But it made perfect sense in the end.
I also loved it too, because I'm like, that would be a great element to Santa. I don't know, is that a big spoiler or for a movie like this?
I don't know. I just thought it was cool. I love that part of the movie.
Yeah, I just don't want to say what it was.
It does, it doesn't explain anything that happens. It's just it's almost like a 30-second scene, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, I'll spoiler alert. Lose all your views right now, but
hey, Jason.
No. So he's a Viking. He was a Viking. He was like Nicholas the Red or something like that. And they don't really explain how he became Santa Claus, but like that's where he started, and that's where his violence comes from.
Yeah. Huh. He's like Thor. He's got that big sledgehammer.
Skull crusher.
All right. Well, sounds good.
I don't think Jeff will be watching this with his wife, but
no, I do want to watch this movie. This movie looks great. I love David Harbour.
He's great in this.
Yeah. All right. Let's try and suck whatever
moral fiber.
Are you serious right now? I had no intention of watching this, and you give it to Ron, and I've watched every one of Ron's recommendations, and they're all been good. So now I'm gonna be pissed. I bet
we don't know if it's a recommendation yet.
Yeah,
Ron
you don't know what the hell I'm gonna say.
All right, let's cover Harry and Meghan.
Listen, what is the #1 show on Netflix for 2022?
I believe it's Santa.
In the United States and the UK, it is the Harry and Meghan 6-part documentary that has dropped. And by the way, bear with me, guys, because I'm running the Rona right now, so trying to talk in between my coughs and sniffles. Listen, I love the royal family. I love watching and following all things royal. Yes, it makes me a complete, stool pigeon because they can market anything to me. Then I'll click and open anything relating to the royals. And when I saw this drop, I was really interested in it because I will tell you, first off, Harry and Meghan were paid they don't know for sure, somewhere between $100 and $150 million for this.
Lord.
Right. So one must ask how, they were paid ahead of time and they have come. And so Netflix knows what now we all know, which is nothing freaking sells like a royal scandal. And that's what this is. So, the episodes drop in 2 sets of 3, and it's interesting the way they did that because the first 3 are really about the courtship of Harry and Meghan. Is that cool? Is it interesting? Here's what's interesting about it. When you're Harry, no matter where you are in the United States, Meghan nobody cared about at the time, but when you're Harry, it really was a series of episodes about how you avoid the paparazzi. It really is tactically an amazing thing that you can actually take somebody out on a legitimate date or go somewhere in public without 1,000 cameras wanting to see. Because you have to remember, at the time before Harry was engaged, after his time in the military and after William kind of came into his own, Harry was often cited as the most eligible bachelor in the world. As a matter of fact, a lot of my buddies and I would talk about whose male life would you want to live more than Harry, and the only one that I think anyone could come up with was Tom Brady at the time, but maybe not so anymore. So yeah, the first 3 episodes are about the courtship, and it's interesting because they have to do all kinds of crazy things to avoid the cameras, and they basically it's just a matter of time before they're discovered and before this meets the press and the tabloids, which is another interesting footnote. I'll just say this, that I learned. I guess I had not really had a good appreciation for how much tabloid news runs the British news market. Whereas we think here in the United States, major players, New York Times or whatever your flavor might be for print press, in the UK, it's not like that. The Sun, the Mirror, the Times, these are all tabloid, periodicals that that pretty much have all of the media and by extension political power in the UK. So that brings us to the second 3 episodes, which is where all the controversy comes in. And I know I don't have to rehash all of it with you guys. You know it all. The bottom line is that there is contention that the royal family felt that Meghan was a distraction at best, at worst, a bitchy, money-grabbing whore that somehow wiggled her way into the family. But depending upon which side of that you believe or you think is actually true, I can tell you what is true is that this woman was exposed to a kind of harassment and just absolute aggression from the tabloid media in the UK, unlike anything the British public has ever seen, even since Diana's days, which Diana was victim to the same method. So then the question becomes, all right, is this coordinated? Was this designed by the royal family? Did people try to spin Meghan in such a way that the British public would turn on her? Because at the time this all went down, if you can imagine this, Meghan was the most popular member of the British family. Wow. And she wasn't even an official member yet. So super interesting. There's a ton of inflammatory allegations, ton of things that some of which you heard on Oprah about questions about the color of Prince Archie's skin, how dark it was going to be, and suggestions of racism, which just on a personal note, I don't speak for anybody else. I believe every one of those racist anecdotes that are associated with the British family. They have a long history of racism, well before Harry and Meghan. So for me personally, I believe every bit of that. But listen, it turns into a he said, she said. An email was leaked, a heartfelt email from Harry to William. How the press got it, I don't know. We think that that the documentary suggests that it was specifically leaked to spin a particular narrative about Harry and Meghan. It just it goes on and on and on. That's just a series of stories of how Harry and Meghan were spun by the tabloid press in the UK, and you're pretty much left to choose what to believe. Right? Were the royal family involved? Was it coordinated? Was it a conspiracy, or are they just bad people, Harry and Meghan, and the tabloid press is just reflecting just the truth out there? The answer is, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's probably blood in the water on both sides. I will say this. This is my personal opinion, that the royal family had a tremendous opportunity in front of them to have a princess or Duchess of Sussex, as she is, a woman of color, to be part of this long tradition of whiteness in the royal family. So that opportunity went away. But even still, I think that Meghan could have been a super powerful member, young member, without any of the concerns of her actually ascending to the throne or even being a queen consort. So it's just interesting. In my mind, the whole thing is just a missed opportunity for the family. They are never going to come to reconciliation. Never, ever, ever. It's going to be interesting to see what the epilogue of this. Harry's written a book subsequently. I'm not sure what that's going to be about. I think that's more directly around Charles. One interesting side note before I give up is that the Queen herself, Her Majesty the Queen, before she passed, had no comment about any of this. We just refused to engage in the fight, in the internal workings between Harry and William, and just wanted no part of the shenanigans of this problem between the two of them. And when she died, she even then had no public comment or no anything that would lead anybody in the public to understand what her opinion was about the whole thing, which is kind of damning. Actually, it just speaks to a little bit of how cold they are. So
never complain, never explain, right? That was their motto.
So do I recommend Harry and Meghan? No, I'm not going to say I recommend it, but I will just say this: if you're like me and you're just fascinated by the royal family, then it's a good watch. If the royal family ain't your thing, it's not going to compel you. You're not going to be interested, and I don't recommend it. So it's a matter of your own personal taste. For me, right up my alley, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And if you are into the royal family, I highly recommend.
I'm ancillary on it. I gotta tell you though, if you Google Kate versus Meghan UK headlines, I mean, it's insane how they attacked Meghan for exactly the same things they made Kate Middleton out to be an angel about. Like the same thing. Right. Like there was something about, a picture of Meghan with her hands in her pockets and they just too far and they just like slamming her, even though there's a million pictures of the Queen.
Yeah, they wore Jeff. They wore literally the same dress, like 2 years apart. That was off Kate's shoulder, and the tabloids went on about how sexy and beautiful Kate was. And then 2 years later, Meghan wore literally the same dress, and Meghan was a whore who was, sticking her tongue out at the royal family. So, you're right. And listen, it's
my opinion without watching anything is if they were willing to walk away from that, it just seemed like to break that much years of tradition and to walk away. I don't see where they weren't. It wasn't such a bad situation for them. They had to remove themselves.
I 100% agree with that. Listen, my take is if this was all documented in a vacuum, if you knew nothing about the royal family, just what you saw in this documentary, you wouldn't know what to believe. That's the truth. But it's not a vacuum. They have a long documented history of their shenanigans, whether it be racist or otherwise. So it makes some of these claims very easy to believe, in my opinion.
And the other thing, like with Diana, they also have a history of not liking the new person being more popular
100%.
than everyone else.
100%.
They got a real problem with that.
Yeah, they do have a problem with that. Yeah. So check it out.
All right. Well, thank you.
Good review, Ronald.
Yeah.
Good review, man.
Yeah.
Way to pound through the Corona.
If I do, it's my third run with this, you guys. Third. I can't believe it.
I hope it's not.
I hope not also.
Well, so all right, real quick. So a couple of the things that I've watched because of this show is one is Ozark, thanks to Ron. I know we talked about it a million times. I mentioned why I didn't or hadn't watched it or tried to watch it and didn't. But that turned out to be one of my favorite series of all times that I watched. And one other one that kind of sticks out for me is Tony Berardo recommended this one called Blackbird on Apple TV, which if you haven't watched it, it's a 6-episode series with Ray Liotta, Greg Kinnear, a couple other. It's one of the greatest miniseries I think I've ever seen. Yeah. It's based on a true story. It's about this criminal that goes undercover to expose another criminal so he can get his freedom. And it's pretty intense. So anyway, awesome. that's what I've gotten out of this amazingness. I thank all of you guys, especially Fred and Mick and Zach for coming back, and then of course Roz and Ron and Sal and Bob for hanging since the beginning. 100 episodes.
I think I've been on about half.
Yeah,
maybe a little more, maybe 60%.
With the fireworks going.
I do have to give credit to Bob for making in my mind, the worst recommendation of the year, which I did watch.
I knew this was going to come up.
It's The Platform, and I'm not sure what network it's on, but I'm still, I don't even know how many months it's been, and I'm still haunted by that piece of shit movie. So, anyway.
Well, I thought it was delightful for a pandemic.
I love the platform. I've seen it probably 4 or 5 times.
Okay, all right.
Coyote.
It's so bleak. It's happy.
It's so crazy that it works. Yeah. Like you can't have a Don Quixote story without windmills, but this works. I don't understand it. It works.
Yeah.
Wow, Jeff, congratulations, man.
Yes, congratulations.
That's legit.
Well, it's all of you guys too. So it's a team effort, and I appreciate you guys supporting this crazy idea. And
it's been fun. 2 years.
We were able to hear Bob through at least a third of that 100.
I've always enjoyed it mostly just because it's fun. It's always a good reason to be able to kind of hang out and do stuff and just kind of chat. And hey, we watch TV anyway, so why not, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
I tape the old episodes and watch them back to back on my VCR.
At least 3 times.
Yeah, I'm watching one right now.
You can just get them on YouTube. You can get them on on our YouTube channel.
He transfers them to VHS.
Yeah, I put them on VHS. I put Avengers on VHS. I put everything on VHS. I love it. It's the visual.
Hey, Marcy, baby.
Yeah.
The audio on cassette tape.
It's that visual vinyl, baby.
Great.
It is amazing when you if I go into my basement, I don't even have a DVD player anymore.
Oh.
I don't think.
Do you want one?
No.
I got plenty.
I have a record player, but I don't have. There's nothing you have to. Everything's streamable now, right? I mean, literally, you don't have to.
People come into my house and they go, "You have a laser disc player?" And I'm like, "You have no idea the quality that's on laser disc."
The quality is amazing. I always wanted a laser disc. I never got one though.
Oh, yeah,
there are a handful.
I bought this because of one of your shows, Mick.
Oh yeah,
Back to the Future. You love Back to the Future, right?
Yeah, I do, man. That's awesome.
There are a handful of classics that aren't streaming anywhere. We were just talking a couple months back about the Flamingo Kid, which was from our era. It was a great movie. It's on DVD.
You can't stream Fletch anywhere. I literally had to buy
the original.
I had to buy Fletch to show it to my wife because she's like, "What's Fletch?" Because we were going to watch the John Hamm one. And I'm like, what do you mean? What's Fletch? So we tried to stream it and I couldn't find it. So I had to break out the old VCR.
Yeah. My brother found the Flamingo Kid on eBay for $6 on DVD, and we have it now. So there's a handful. Dogma is another great one that's not available anywhere. But
got that on VHS.
Yeah. There you go.
Hang on one second. No, that's right. Yeah, you can't find Fletch anywhere. I think I own it though. So if you want to come over, we can watch it together.
Yeah, Fletch and Mad God were the 2 things that I could not find anywhere.
But I do recommend the new Fletch movie. Marcy's gonna go check out her Flamingo Kid. I actually just got the soundtrack on vinyl for the Flamingo Kid.
Really?
So, yeah.
I don't even remember the music in it.
I know. I think it's.
Somebody was just there was just some stupid ass article on BuzzFeed where they're like, the worst movie endings of all time, or most depressing movie endings of all time. And of course, they're not. There's no critical thinking. It's just they ask viewers their thought and put a list together. But the one that came to me was from our childhood, our teenage years. The Last American Virgin.
Oh yeah, the ending is
the worst ending of all time. So depressing.
I just assumed you were going to say The Deer Hunter.
Wait, I tell you, wait. The Last American Virgin, isn't that the one where he's like, "Where's my underwear?" I know. I think I ate it or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. The girl he loves hooks up with his best buddy. She gets pregnant. He takes her for the abortion, and then thinks everything's going to be good. And then at the end, she hooks back up.
It comes right out of left field. It's horrible ending, man.
Terrible.
That's horrible. Brutal. That's horrible. Very cool. All right, everyone. Well, this was an amazing. Fred, tell everyone about your podcast and where they can find you and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they can find it anywhere. Apostrophes Writers Series. It's interviews with authors and anybody in the book business. And it's been fairly successful. So I need more people to subscribe. So go subscribe.
Go subscribe, everyone. Fred does a great job.
You should hook up and co-promote with Jeff's brother.
JohnDwoskin.com.
Which one? Zach, tell us at least about 3 or maybe or 4 of your.
Honestly,
we don't have time for all.
Check out Fred Carroll's Apostrophes. That's a really cool project, and Dylan's very excited about it. And if you're on the computer, look up Scene Snobs. Those guys do it right. And if you're going to watch it on VHS the way that I do, which is the best way to watch anything whatsoever.
Man.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that.
Just
Stand By Me and Run
be
Around
kind.
too.
Just be kind.
Mick, what do you got?
I'm gonna say you should be watching all of Zach's stuff. Go to Some Nobodies. It's great stuff.
Look at the
and
love
I'm
for the
excited for
hot
future
face.
projects for sure.
Awesome. All right, Bob, say goodnight.
Oh, I just want to say thanks for having us on as OG members. Right, 2 years of this, and feeling pretty good about that. And I was just thinking back to all the technical problems that you were patient with me, and till I got the right equipment. And I just thought it would be really funny, like it'd be weird, right, on the 100th episode.
That was amazing.
Wow.
So well done.
What an exit.
Yeah,
What
when that used to be a thing where you'd have to choose when Bob would drop from the show. Howie, say goodnight.
Good night, everybody. Congrats to all my fellow folks here, and it's been fun to be part of 100 episodes.
Ron.
Yeah, it's impressive, 100 episodes. So congratulations, crossing the streams, and looking forward to the next 100.
Absolutely. Sal, say goodnight.
Again, just like everybody else just said, congratulations, Jeff, for putting this together. It's a good time. And SalDemilio.com, and that's it. Good night and Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Well,
everyone.
see you
All
guys.
right. Yeah, check out Sal and Bob Show. Check out Classic Conversations, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
And that has been another episode of Crossing the Streams. Join us every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow the Jeff DeWaskin Show on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live with your hosts, Jeff DeWaskin, Ron Lippett, Howard Rosner, Bob Phillips, Sal D'Amelio. We're all in the socials. Follow us, listen to our podcasts, Classic Conversations, and the Sal and Bob Show. Check them all out, and we'll see you next week and every week when we cross more streams right here. See you then.